Hi, I'm Lisa and this is Smart Happy Project, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to do an 8-fold geometric construction so that we can use it as a template and then thread Christmas stars like this. Maybe you want to do these on Christmas cards. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. So I've got my card actually on a pin board, because I find that creates a good base I can put my compass in and it doesn't slip. So I'm going to start by scribing my first circle, and this circle is going to end up being the width of the star. Then I want to draw a line that goes through the center of that, because I need to cut my circle into quarters. So I make sure that the line goes through the center and it crosses the circumference on both edges. And now what I need to do is bisect this line. That's a term in geometry which means to cut this line in half, because I want to create quarters. So I need another line that goes through there, so it needs to go through the center. So I actually use a second compass so that I don't have to change the width of that first one, because I'll come back to that. Now this is one, and I want to put it on the edge there where that first line intersects the edge, and it wants to be a good bit wider than the radius of my circle, so it doesn't matter how far it is. And then I just do a little sort of part mark at the top there on the outside of the circle and at the bottom. Then I do the same on the other side, and these are going to make sure that I keep the compass at the width it was when I just moved it there, but I got that first line. So that's the point where it crossed first. So then what I'm doing is I'm joining up those two. So I join up where those crossed, and it cuts through the center of my circle. If it doesn't cut through the center, then I haven't done it very accurately. So now with my original compass, so make sure see how that's the same. Now I draw arcs at each quarter point. So these are not quite full circles, but they're over half arcs at each point where those lines cross my original outside circle. I said I like doing it on a pin board because I find that my compass doesn't slip too much. Then the last one, and all of them go nicely through the center. So there you go. You can see I've got 4 nicely spaced petals. Now what these petals do is those points at which the arcs have crossed over at the outside of the petals, I'm going to draw lines through those, a bit like when I bisected the first line. So I've joined up that one through the center with the one opposite, and then I'm going to draw a line. So that now I'll just do this one. Now what this means is that I've cut my original circle into 8 slices, 8 pizza slices. So now going back to my first compass, that one, remember? I'm going to do the arcs on those points as well. Again, these are going to go through the center. And what these do is you might be able to see it now. I know it's a bit faint on the paper. Is they create other arcs. So now I have 8 petals, large petals, and then there's 8 smaller ones in the center. Now what I want to do is do a small circle in the center, because I want to, so I'm using a teeny weeny compass there. You can use the same compass, I just just do this because it's easier. And now what I'm going to do is I want to have 8 marks on this inner circle that my arms can come into. So I'm actually going to join up these inner petals with their opposites, and they will slice through the center there, and I'm going to go by those marks. So I'm going to do that, but I don't need to do the whole lines. So I'm joining that inner petal with its opposite and just marking where it crosses that inner circle, because these are going to be the points that I'm going to join my arms. The arms of my star up to there. Can you see that? So so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually join them up. So this is going to be my first arm of the star, and I'm joining the tip of it with that mark that I put on the inner circle. And I'll do that all the way around. And at the bottom one, actually, I'm going to extend this down so that we can have a longer arm. I'm just going to pick a point there, a longer arm at the bottom, because that's more traditional look of the Christmas star. So I'm just doing that one so that you can see, and then I'll do the rest of the arms. I just actually make holes at each of the points that I'm going to need for the stencil. Now what I actually do is I actually use a hole punch. So I'm going to take my board out from underneath, and then I'm going to punch these holes quickly. You can just use a needle, but I just find that this sometimes is a So now I transfer this onto a blank Christmas card. Now, I've actually done that too big for these, for the purposes of the camera. So I've actually got this one, was a smaller one that I did earlier, which fits these. So obviously you want to, it depends on the size of the card that you're using. So this is my template, and I've done the holes. I've actually done intermediate holes as well on the smaller petal arms. So I'm just by eye, I'm working that out into the center. So I've transferred my stencil that I did, excuse me. I transferred those points onto the card, and then I use the hole punch again to mark the holes. So now I'm going to start the threading. I'm going to start at the top and pull my thread through from the back to the front. And I'm going to show you this technique of threading this star so that you get the same pattern on the reverse as you do on the front, because you don't want to open the card and then have a whole mess of threads going everywhere. I mean, you can do, it doesn't matter. It's just this is how I do it, and so you get the same on the reverse. So I'm going to show you this technique. You can do it however you want, but so I come up at the top of the first one, and then I'm going to the inner circle. I'm going down at the hole that's just to the left. So that's the first arm. Then I'm going to come up at the point of the next arm, that one there. And rather than go join to that one, I'm going to go to the next one along. So I'm going to do all the left hand arms first. And this means that on the reverse, I'll get the same pattern. So there, I've done all of the left hand arms, and on the reverse you can see that's the original starting thread. You can see I've got the same, I've just got the ends of the thread. So now this is on the reverse. I'm going to go back through the first one, just being careful not to get all knotted up with that original one. Then back to the front. And now I went this way around before. Now I'm going to come back the way I came. I'll go back on here. And there you go. And then on the reverse, I join up my end thread with the beginning one. And then just snip off the ends. And there's a little bit where they join together, but at least on the inside you haven't got threads going everywhere. And there you go, there's your Christmas card. So that was the basic design, and for example with this one, what I did was, it's the same design, but I used the intermediate petals, the 8 smaller petals on the inside, and put a hole at each and a hole in the center, and then you can overlap them like that, and that's quite nice using contrasting thread colors. Or this was more elaborate. Again, you can see I like it when you can actually see the construction underneath. So that was a version of using multiple, so you can do all different, and that's a very simple one. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed those. So thanks for that. I hope you enjoy making your 8-pointed stars. Thanks for watching. My name's Lisa. I'm the Smart Happy Project. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like more of this. There'll be more videos coming up. And yeah, enjoy your stars. Thanks very much. Bye.